tonight in Las Vegas. Both the Rebels and the Aggies have won 6 in a row. New Mexico State's captured 18 of its last 19. UNLV's won 17 of the past 19. Coincidentally, both teams just survived in their last games. On Saturday night at Las Cruces, New Mexico State trailed UC Santa Barbara by 17 points with 18 minutes to go and came back to win by 2. Monday night here, the Rebels were 8 points behind Fresno State in the first half and 6 down in the second and rallied to win by 5. The Rebels and the Aggies are both 14-0 on their home floors this year. And the Rebels tonight come in 9-point favorites to beat the Aggies. New Mexico State's only losses to Texas El Paso at the buzzer. They blew an 8-point lead with 5 minutes to go in that game in early December. And they got racked at Long Beach State by 16 points, their only conference loss. Now we're getting the starters introduced. For New Mexico State, Reggie Jordan, a 6'4 junior out of Maywood, Illinois, will open at 1 forward, and Michael New, a 6'8 junior from Chicago, at the other. The centers, James Anderson, 6'8 senior, East Chicago, Indiana. The guards, and they're good ones, Randy Brown, 6'3 junior out of Chicago, who scored 27 against the Rebels earlier this year, and Keith Hill, the 6'4 senior from Houston, who had the game-winning 18-foot bank shot with 5 seconds to go to beat UNLV. Neil McCarthy, the Big West Conference Coach of the Year last year, and he now has seen his team win 20 or more each of the last 2 years. The capacity crowd of 19,000 making a lot of noise tonight at the Thomas and Mack Center. They know this is an important conference game. UNLV has won all 7 league titles since they came into the Big West Conference. A couple of years ago, they were tied with Utah State at 11-2 in the league on February the 18th. They won that game here and went on to win the title. But as Sonny, you pointed out earlier, not very many times have the Rebels been this late in the season where they do not know that the title is theirs.
Especially at Thomas and Mack, you're absolutely right. This is a credit to what Neil McCarthy has done at New Mexico State. And as I said pregame, this is the biggest game I think they've played because they had great teams in the 70s.
And Neil took him off the court. I wondered whether he'd do that. So many rival coaches do that in Las Vegas, so his players will not have to look at this fireworks and great laser show they have here.
You know, the thing about that, I don't know if they're afraid of the fireworks, Rod. They're still going to go play the game. It's sitting for 5 or 6 minutes.
All right, the Rebels been introduced. A.C. Ockman, 6'8 junior, Pasadena, California. Larry Johnson, 6'7.5 junior, Dallas at forwards. David Butler, 6'10 senior, Washington, D.C. at center. Listen to the ovation after they introduce Anderson Hunt, 6'1.5 sophomore from Detroit. Greg Anthony's going to play tonight, and that's going to shock a lot of people. 6'2 junior, Las Vegas. Jerry Tarkanian said today, I cannot believe that Anthony can play with his jaw fractured in 2 places. He could not believe that Stacy Sianovich, with a dislocated shoulder, would be available to play, but it looks like that's going to be the case tonight. Now, when these clubs got together early in January in New Mexico, the Rebels were 11 points ahead in the first half, 10 points ahead in the second half, and the Aggies came back. It was the first time they'd ever beaten UNLV in their 15th try. David Butler had 24 points that night for UNLV. No other Rebel had more than 12, although UNLV did sink 51% from the field. Randy Brown led the Aggies that night with a career-high 27. Keith Hill had 19, and New Mexico State made 56% of its shots. And when it got right down to the last 5 seconds, Keith Hill had to bank it, and he did it beautifully to win the ball game by 1 for the Aggies.
That was a game that will long be remembered by Rebel fans.
Yes, it will be.
You know, it's hard enough, you know, winning and playing against Jerry Tarkanian. I think right now, if I was Neil McCarthy, I might have wanted Jerry to be at full strength. Because now your kids might say, well, somebody's hurting, someone's going to, you know, not going to play. Anderson Hunt's got a mask on. You know, these sort of things sort of give you a letdown.
The officials tonight, Frank Bissoni, Tom Hickey, and David Hall will work this one. Well, we were half a year along. Always on KDWN Radio in Las Vegas. Joined tonight by Sports Channel America throughout the nation. Of course, by Channel 56 in Southern California, Prime Cable 34 in Las Vegas, and Channel 5 in Las Vegas. Ought to be quite a game, Sonny.
I hope it is. Greg Anthony's not going to wear the hockey mask.
No, he's not. The word was he was going to go with the 2.5-pound blue hockey helmet fitted with a white football face guard. But not so. The other report was they might go with a clear visor, but they were told that that would be hard to keep on. All right, Butler goes up with New. The tip goes to New Mexico State and backcourt to Randy Brown. Anthony's right after him. And we got a whistle. And the violation will be called. It'll be New Mexico State's ball out. And I think the crowd might well be a factor in this game tonight.
They're ready to go. People have told me this will be the largest crowd ever for a conference game with UNLV.
Randy Brown, the University of Houston transfer, over in the wing area to Reggie Jordan. 4 of these New Mexico State starters are out of the Chicago area. Here's Keith Hill to the baseline. Shots up and in, and the Aggies strike first. Anderson Hunt with it outside for UNLV on our simulcast to Greg Anthony. Back to Hunt for the baseline to Ogman. Ogman cross-court, his pass to Anthony. His shot for 3. Good!
That's a great way to start it.
Greg Anthony's 22nd three-pointer of the year gives the Rebels a 3-2 lead. And what a boost psychologically that's going to be for UNLV. As Jordan goes in, we got a whistle and a foul call.
Someone who has a broken jaw. Greg Anthony was in on the first tip, hit the ball out of bounds, made a 3-point shot from 25 feet away. There's only a minute and a half, 2 minutes on in the first half.
Anthony draws the foul. Trainer Jerry Kolaski was telling me this afternoon he's very concerned about Greg's nose. Forget the jaw. He's worried about a blow to that nose. He'd have trouble breathing. But he did not come out with a mask. All right, 3-2 Rebels, a minute into the game. With it outside, Reggie Jordan. Over in the right wing area now, the pass. It goes to Keith Hill. A missed shot and tapped out of bounds by New Mexico State.
I don't think New Mexico State will be very dominant on the offensive board. Their strength is their guards, Ross. That's where they're going to have to stay in the game and win the game with their guards.
Aggies come out, full court pressure. Larry Johnson at the forecourt with his pass to David Butler, 35 feet out. Back to Hunt. Rebels 3, Aggies 2. The winner with a great shot at winning the Big West Conference title. Stacey Ogman holds the ball high, top of the key to Anthony. Cross court to Hunt. In the air for 3. Too long. Battle for the rebound. The Aggies have got it. Anthony, though, went to that board hard. Here's Brown down the middle to Jordan. Cutting through the lane. Feeds underneath. Great pass. Reverse layup. Good by Michael New.
Great assist on going to the basket there.
At the other end, Hunt lobbed down low to Butler. Turn around 13-footer air ball. Ogman had it, lost it, put it back up, no good. Battle for the rebound. Aggies have got it. Coming out of there, Keith Hill. Around Anthony. Hill in the air, 12-footer on the rim. Larry Johnson up for the rebound. He averages over 11 a game. One of the national leaders in rebounds. 4-3 New Mexico State. Ogman turns down a 3-pointer for UNLV to Anthony. To Hunt. To Johnson on the right baseline. Back to Anderson. Swing it to Ogman. Over to Anthony in front of the Aggie bench. Cross court to Hunt. Left alone. Shoots for 3. Got it.
Vegas reverses the ball against the zone as well as anybody in America. They do it with crossover passes, Ross.
Anderson Hunt's 57th three-point basket of the year. He's at over 40% on three-pointers. And it's 6-4 UNLV. 2 minutes and 40 seconds into the game. Jordan with it against Anthony. Down low to Brown. Goes in to shoot. Clean block. Great block. Looked like Larry Johnson got there first. Frank Busoni made the call.
Going to the basket, Larry just gets all balls.
Anderson Hunt helped him too, Sonny. Here's a pass up to Ogman. Stolen by New. Back to Hill. New going in. Jump shot to the baseline. In and out. Tip no good. Battle for the rebound. Anthony volleyballs to New. New bangs into Butler. Player control foul. Good call.
So much aggressiveness so far in the game. They actually got 2 offensive rebounds there, and New just plowed right into them.
So the Rebels will have it out of bounds. Up in the forecourt with it, David Butler terminates the dribble to Johnson on the far side. Back to the midcourt to Hunt, to Anthony. To the right wing to Ogman. Back to Anthony in the lane to Butler. Turnaround shot no good, but he was fouled, and James Anderson made contact.
I know one thing. Las Vegas is going to the basket quickly. Butler just went in. He was open, cutting across the key, which that ball will be open because they got to protect the perimeter shooting.
The Rebels had a miserable night here Monday night at the foul line. They made only 15 of 30. Butler went 8 for 14. He's 74% on the year. Larry Johnson was 1 for 6 that night. His average is still 77%. That was in, out, back in. So the Rebels leading 7-4. Butler's 24 points against New Mexico State this year, his one-game high. David playing with tendonitis in both knees. Sinks the second free throw. 8-4 UNLV. We played 3 minutes and 18 seconds in Las Vegas. Bringing the ball up, Randy Brown. Brown over the far side to Keith Hill in front of Jerry Tarkanian. Hill behind a pick, working against Larry Johnson. Right of the lane, turns in, knocked away by Butler. Taken by Anthony. 2-on-3. Anthony cross courts to Hunt behind the line. In the air, shoots for three. In and out. Larry Johnson got to put it up. Around, no good. Tip is good by Butler.
New Mexico State's got to get some semblance of rebounding. If they're not, Johnson and Butler and Ogden will kill them throughout the night, Rob.
UNLV scored the last 7 points for a 10-4 lead. Brown off the high post to New. Back to Brown to the left baseline. In the air, shoots over Hunt. In and out. New with a good offensive rebound. Put it up blocked by Butler. Ricochets out to Keith Hill. Hill down to the baseline now. Here comes Anderson turning in the air. His pass to Jordan, a foul on Butler. Pretty good defense, though.
It's excellent. It's so hard to get inside on UNLV. Right now it's going to be Larry Johnson's turn. Then they'll go in and David Butler will pick it up. Ogden picks it up. All these kids have so much anticipation. That's what makes them great defensive basketball players.
Going to the free throw line will be Reggie Jordan. Only 60% on the year. Neil McCarthy said, I think we can play with UNLV. We play well. We got to raise our level of play a notch. Jordan sinks the free throw. Reggie Jordan is 6'4", but his arm span is 6'10". 10-5 UNLV, and Jordan also makes the second free throw. We got a timeout. 15:43 to go, opening half. UNLV 10, New Mexico State 6. We'll be back in a minute. 10 shots. The Rebels have made only 3 of 9, and UNLV leading at 10-6.
That was a case of over-anxiousness, the hype of the game, with 19,000 people. This is what New Mexico State cannot do. They've got to make all these possessions count for them.
The Aggies again employ full court pressure. William Benjamin, number 21 in the game for the first time for New Mexico State. The pass into forecourt to David Butler. Back out to Anthony. Over to Hunt. Back to Anthony. To Ogman. Up high to Hunt. Back to Stacy Ogman. Down low to Larry Johnson. Twist in, a 7-footer, no good. Tipped by Butler, no good. And a foul. Our ball knocked out of bounds. It'll belong to New Mexico State. William Benjamin, who about to inbound the ball. 6'3" sophomore out of Santa Monica, California. His arm span is 6 feet 10 inches.
It'd be nicer to be 6 feet 10.
All right, Keith Hill brings it up. He's had some great games against the Rebels the last couple of years. Over to Reggie Jordan, picked up by Anthony. Ball knocked out front. Jordan goes and gets it. 5 minutes into the game, 10-6, UNLV. With the ball, Benjamin. Over in the left wing area now. It comes to Jordan, working against Anthony in the air. Left-handed jump shot, good.
He took it right to Anthony that time.
10-8. The Aggies come back for 4 in a row. Anthony breaks the press to Butler. That's got to be a disruptive press, Sonny. To Hunt, to Ogman. Turns down a shot, brings it out front to Hunt. Over to Anthony. The corner to Larry Johnson. Back to Anthony. He'll shoot a three-pointer. In and out. Heartbreak. Rebounded by New Mexico State for Reggie Jordan, and the Aggies look for the tie. Benjamin's pass tipped out of bounds by Hunt. Tried to alley-oop one underneath to Michael New, and Hunt, who's only 6'1½", went up and tipped it away.
Going back to your press situation, that is very disruptive. They're very athletic at New Mexico State. But the one thing about Vegas is all the kids can handle the basketball. There's not one person you can definitely press.
Rick Fluckey, a transfer out of the University of Texas in there. Fluckey is in lucky, and he knows how Greg Anthony feels tonight. Rick broke his jaw in the middle of December and was out for 2 weeks. Benjamin with the ball after the inbounds pass to New. 10-8 UNLV to Fluckey. Fluckey led the comeback the other night against Santa Barbara with 4 3-point baskets in the second half. He is their best outside shooter. And Tark worked on Fluckey, especially today in practice. Keith Hill goes in, and David Butler fouled him, and that's 2 fouls on Butler.
New Mexico State worked the 2-man game there. He wasn't for 3 here. Ran him right into the picture, so he got a shot off. It was a very good play. It looks like it's a set play, and they'll probably use it a few times tonight.
Keith Hill is a 67% free throw shooter. He had 28 against the Rebels last year for a career high in a game. And we say 19 against the Las Cruces this year, including the game winner. The first one up, rolls in. His third point, that cuts the Rebel lead to 10-9. It was 10-4. The next free throw knocks the ball game. So New Mexico State rallies. 10-10. Still full-court pressure. Pass ahead to Butler. Out to Hunt. To the baseline to Ogman. Ogman in the air. Back to Hunt. Over to Anthony. Lob down low to Butler. Saves the ball from going out of bounds. Back in the court to Anthony. Cross court to Ogman. Ogman through the lane. Back out to Hunt. In the air for a three-pointer. Swish.
Good ball movement all around the perimeter.
So Hunt has 6. And the Rebels back ahead 13-10. Larry Johnson's not touching the ball.
It's because they're moving it around the perimeter looking for the outside shot. If they keep hitting it, Ross, Larry will get the ball.
In the ball game for the first time, Jason Trask, number 33 for New Mexico State. Here's Flucky in the air. 17-footer blocked by Johnson. It goes to Ogman. Down to Larry. Larry dribbles it. Now back to Anthony in the air. Bank shot no good. Tip by Johnson good. Left-handed.
The play was made by Stacey Ogman at the foul line of New Mexico State. Off the steal and a tip that went 30 feet.
And the Rebels come back for 5 in a row and a 15-10 lead. Listen to this crowd tonight. Hill in the air, loses the ball. Here's Anthony. His pass tipped by Trask. It goes to Ogman. Ogman throws it away. We go back the other way. Here's a 2-on-1. New goes in. Left-handed layup good for the Aggies. Wall-to-wall action tonight at the Thomas and Mack. 15-12. Here's Hunt through the lane. Give it up to Butler. And knocked out of bounds. Touch last by New Mexico State's Rick Flucky.
Bill McCarthy has his team ready. Not that any coach wouldn't, Ross, but these kids are prepared. This is a major, major game for them.
Substitutions. Hill and New are out. Anderson and Brown are in for New Mexico State. 15-12. UNLV. Inbounds pass to Butler. Butler comes out to Hunt. Behind the line. In the air. Three-pointer. Got it.
I believe that's 5 threes.
Hunt has 3. Anthony has 1. 18-12, UNLV. Here's a pass tipped and stolen by Larry Johnson. 3-on-2. Now comes a Hunt. Hunt over to Anthony, but we're going to foul first on New Mexico State to break up the fast break. Ought to be Randy Brown.
Right here, Larry makes the great play. It's a box on the steal here, but watch it again. Hunt makes a good play, gets fouled way back on top of the key. The funny thing here, Ross, is Las Vegas hasn't substituted yet, and Neil McCarthy has gotten 3 guys in the game on his side.
Tark really has 4 men available off the bench. Moses Scurry, Barry Young, James Jones, and Stacy Sianovich with the dislocated shoulder. Common foul, so the Rebels inbound. Foul was on Randy Brown. Cross-court pass to Anthony. Anthony down low to Larry Johnson. Double team, brings it out to Hunt. Hunt left-handed dribble, knocked away beautifully by Brown. It comes to Anderson. 3-on-2 fast break. To the baseline it goes. In the air, Brown shoots a 5-footer and makes it. Brown's quick hands got it all started. 18-14, UNLV. They double team Anthony in backcourt to Johnson. Up ahead to Hunt. 11:40 to go, first half. Ross Porter and Sonny Vaccaro with you on our simulcast. First place in the Big West Conference on the line tonight. Here's Ogman saving a bad pass. Hunt to Beltner, and Butler goes up to shoot and got fouled underneath.
Could have gotten a travel there, but he going to get the
Yes,
foul.
they could have called steps. Instead, they get Jason Trask, the 6'9" junior out of Capistrano Valley, California. For the foul.
It was a very good pass for Anderson.
21-16 UNLV. Hunt with 4 3-pointers out to Anthony. To Barry Young. Aggies aggressive in that zone defense. Here's Anthony. Top of the circle. Back to Hunt in the air. Another 3-pointer short this time. Larry Johnson's got it. Put up from 2. No good. Goaltending may be called. I think it is. And they give Johnson the basket.
I'll question that one there. But that was hard work by Larry Johnson in getting it. He's such a powerful inside force.
Neil McCarthy said before the Rebels played the Aggies in Las Cruces, if we do what we want and they do what they want, there won't be much half-court offense. We plan to use a pressure defense and fast break. And it wound up 83-82 that night. Tonight, 23-16 Rebels, 9.5 minutes to go in the first half. With Sonny Vaccaro, Ross Porter on our simulcast. Here's Jordan in the air, left-handed back shot, no good. Barry Young's got the rebound. To Greg Anthony, playing with the fractured jaw down the middle, past the Hunt. In the air, whistle, no shot, of foul on UNLV, away from the ball.
I think it was Greg Anthony off the dribble. Greg almost got a tee there. He went right into the referee and he's still pointing at him. You can't do that, young man.
Anthony's second foul.
He caught him.
Yep, ran him over. So the Aggies come back. Keith Hill against Barry Young. Puts a move on in the air. 10-footer on the way. Back, no good. Moses Scurry goes up along with Young, and Young's got it. It goes to Hunt, Anthony. To Hunt. Down low to Scurry. The Big West Conference Player of the Week. Back to Hunt. Another three-pointer. Good! He is sizzling.
I hope the East is awake and watching this.
5 3-point baskets for Anderson Hunt. 61 on the year. 10-point Rebel lead, and the fans very much in it. Randy Brown shot's good. He's fouled. The basket will count. Anderson Hunt picks up his first foul.
Mr. Brown made a major league shot right there, Ross. And you'll watch, he's going to the left corner and falling away. Catches the foul and swings the a very hard shot. He had a double pump fake there.
So Randy Brown going to the line. We told you he's one of the 4 youngsters from Chicago on his Aggie team. He said, I used to play summer games in Chicago against players like Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas. He said, UNLV has talent, but I've seen much more on a summer team on a given night.
I don't know if Michael was dreaming when he thought he was playing with Isaiah and Michael.
Brown and Michael New were high school teammates in Chicago and against the University of Houston. Now they're together at New Mexico State. Now, Stacey Ogman back on the floor for Anderson Hunt. And I think what will happen here, Sonny, is we will see Stacey go to guard. Tark said he'd do that some tonight. He'd also use Anderson at point guard if Greg Anthony ran out of gas along the way.
Greg, with the trouble with the nose and breathing, has gone 11 and a half strong minutes.
Brown sinks the free throw to complete the three-point play. And that makes it UNLV 26, New Mexico State 19. Anthony, who's gone all the way to Johnson, still in backcourt. Larry left-handed dribble across the timeline. Back to Anthony in the air to save the pass. 8:25 to go. Here's a pass to Johnson, saved, and the baseline to Ogman. Back to Anthony. Right-handed dribble in the air. In the lane to Johnson. 4-footer on the way. Good.
You can't let Larry Johnson touch the ball in the red.
He only had 12 points at Las Cruces. He's got 6 tonight. The Rebels lead 28-19. Randy Brown had it knocked out of bounds by Greg Anthony. This is the loudest I've heard a Rebel crowd this year.
They're into it.
You knew they would be. Here's James Anderson behind the back dribble against Johnson. Pass to Randy Brown. Pump fake. Shot from 10 on the rim. Deflected by Scurry to Ogman. Here come the Rebels 3-on-2. Ogman to Larry Johnson. Back to Ogman the lane. Dunk right-handed.
You had a 6'8" passing to a 6'9" on a break. The ball never hit the ground, and it was a slam dunk.
At the other end, a steal by Anthony. 3-on-2 again. Anthony all the way. Layup. No good, but he was fouled. The Rebels explode.
We're going to watch on the break here again. Anthony will go right to. He definitely gets fouled here. Ross, I just want to comment on the last break between Larry Johnson and Stacey Ogman. You had 2 rather large young men going down the court. The ball never hit the ground, and it seemed like Larry knew that Stacey would end up in the slam.
Perfect fast break. Stacey Ogman in the last game against Fresno State didn't score in the first 27 minutes. Didn't get a field goal until about 35 minutes that he lapped. It was his only field goal of the game. And those were his first 2 points of that fast break. Anthony at the line. 2 free throws. The first one's good.
UNLV is the only team in America could have Stacey Ogman not have to score and still be a great, great team.
The other day, Larry Johnson was outscored, Sonny, by 4 of his teammates. Now that's balance. Anthony also sinks the second free throw. 32-19. The Rebels have outscored them 22-9. And we're going to have a timeout, I think. Neil McCarthy wants to make some substitutions if he can and get Benjamin and Trask back on the floor. And a standing ovation for the running Rebels. Timeout. 7:32 to go. First half. UNLV 32, New Mexico State 19. We're back in a minute. And the Aggies were close again, 15-12, 18-14, 21-16. And then UNLV turned it on thanks to Anderson Hunt's outstanding shooting from outside. 5 3-pointers and 7 attempts. The Rebels hitting 48%. The Aggies only 33% on 7 of 21. All right, New Mexico State has the basketball. Keith Hill in the forecourt. 32-19 UNLV. Trask to Benjamin. Benjamin against Hunt. Goes right baseline in the air. 14-footer good. Benjamin had 18 against Long Beach State recently for a 1-game high. That makes it 32-21 in favor of UNLV. Hunt into forecourt to Butler. Over to Barry Young. Back to Hunt. To Ogman. Johnson's on the bench. Here's Young's 3-pointer. Good! Rebels by 14, 35-21, 6:45 till halftime. Keith Hill outside to Trask. Now here's Reggie Jordan's left-hander, no good. Scurry tipped it, no foul. Hunt goes down, the ball comes to the Aggies underneath the Trask. Left-handed layup, good, and he's fouled.
It's a great pass by Jordan to Trask underneath. Watch us here on the tip ball. Jordan just sees Trask going to the basket. Crisp and right to him. Easy place to catch, easy place to put in the basket.
Neil McCarthy was saying he uses a passing game because it's simple. And he says you can't make your system very complicated when you're dealing with transfers. And he's got a lot of transfers this year, 7 of them on this team, including 4 of the starters, Brown, Jordan, New, and Anderson. There's an air ball on the free throw attempt by Trask. So it remains 35-23, ball out of bounds to UNLV.
That's the no-no. You don't want to miss everything, especially on the road.
Halftime, California 34, UCLA 29. In the Big West Conference at halftime, Long Beach State 39, Irvine 21. Also at half, Pacific 23, San Jose State 20. And in the first half, Cal State Florida 21, UC Santa Barbara 15. Rebels by 12, 6:15 before halftime in Las Vegas. Ogman in the lane to Butler. Around Trask, gives it back to Ogman, double team along the baseline. Shot no good. Comes out to Butler. He tipped it to Ogman, put it up and good. Foul. Basket will count. Trask is hurt.
Watch inside on the muscle on UNLV's part. Stacy goes to the hole right here. He get a right elbow in his head. That's an NBA move right there.
Yes, sir. So Stacey Ogman will be going to the line. James Anderson back in there. One of the 4 starters from Chicago. Of the 14 players on the Aggies, though, 6 are Californians. Stacey Ogman's free throw is long. However, the follow shot by Scurry, no good. Battle for it. It comes out. Ogman saves it in front of the Aggie bench. Out to Barry Young. Pump fake in the air. 3-pointer. Good!
On all cylinders.
That is 8 3-pointers for the Rebels in the first half. They built the lead to 17. And the crowd, oh, they're going crazy in Las Vegas. However, Rick Plucky answers with a 3-pointer of his own for the Aggies. He's had 33 of them this year, 40-26 at the other end. A layup, good.
It's too easy now.
Stacey Ogman. 42-26. Keith Hill, who through traffic, in the lane, put it up, banks it in nicely underneath.
The game is an unbelievable tempo in favor of Las Vegas, Ross. No matter how much Neil wants it to go up and down.
Larry Johnson and Greg Anthony will both come back in for UNLV, and Randy Brown for New Mexico State. The Rebels lead 42-28, a little over 5 minutes to go in the first half. Keith Hill sits down. McCarthy was saying it's the best group of guards he's ever had, led by Brown and Hill. Fellow like Benjamin and even Plucky. The Rebels come back. Anthony's pass underneath Ogman. Twist. Out of control. Pass outside. Lost out of bounds by UNLV.
They got away with a travel before they lost it out of bounds. What I was trying to say is no matter how much Neil wants it to go up and down the court, UNLV may be the best up and down the court in America.
Yeah.
So at some point, you've got to bring it out and talk about it a little bit.
Randy Brown with the ball to Benjamin. Outside three-pointer by Flucky. He's got another one. And Tartt with hands on hips said, how to get open again. We worked on that today in practice. 42-31. So the Rebels, who led by 17, have it cut to 11. 4:45 till halftime. Anderson Hunt, 6 three-pointers. (45-31). Hunt with 18 points, all on three-pointers. New to Brown outside. Rebels by 14. Over in the corner to Flucky. Larry Johnson comes out on him. To Benjamin. Shot clock at 22. Game clock at 4:12. Brown way out to Flucky. 30 feet out. Crowd chanting Rebels. Here's Brown in the air. 11-footer. Around, no good. Larry Johnson, great rebound. Pass tipped, but Anthony's got it for UNLV after Anderson deflected it. Gregg steps into forecourt. To Hunt. Hunt has had a sensational first half. To Ogman. Ogman across the court to Hunt. In the air. Will he make another one? Yes! Three-pointer.
You're in a shooter's groove. You're in a shooter's groove. That's what's nice about basketball.
Anderson Hunt could be mayor of Las Vegas tonight, and the Aggies throw it out of bounds. Neil McCarthy wants a timeout. This one might get out of hand if he doesn't. 3.5 minutes to go. Standing ovation in Las Vegas. 19,000 loving it. UNLV 48, New Mexico State 31. It's been the Anderson Hunt show tonight. He's 21 or more seasons at UNLV. He's captured at least 20 in 16 of his 17 years in Las Vegas. And tonight, his Rebels putting on quite a long-distance show. Neil McCarthy was saying before the game, I'm concerned about UNLV's rebounding. They got an all-NBA front line. I'm concerned about their size, their strength, and their quickness. He didn't mention the outside shooting of Anderson Hunt.
See, you have to give up something, Ross. That's the key. That's why Vegas is so good.
Well, he said, Sonny, we have the quickness, we don't have the size. Rebels leading 48-31, 3:20 before halftime. Ross Porter and Sonny Vaccaro with you tonight on our simulcast nationwide. Johnson lob pass to Butler underneath. Bank it in.
See, that's what he did. He went into a man-to-man now, and so UNLV will go inside right away.
UNLV has scored the last 8 points.
I really think he should stay and force him to shoot the outside shot.
50-31. The Rebels with their biggest lead of the evening. 3 minutes to go in the half. The Rebels are aroused, and so are their fans tonight. Here's Flucky for his third three-pointer off the rim. Rebound Larry Johnson. To Anthony. Anthony to Ogman on the left side. Back to Larry Johnson out high. Lob down low to Butler. Butler against Michael New. Turns in. Jump shot from 10 on the way. In and out. Rebound Anderson. A foul called on Anderson. He pushed off.
Ross, if they stay in the man-to-man, Vegas will win the game by whatever they want to win it. They spread the court. Jerry's kids reacted so well. Butler gets his shot anytime.
Travel arranged through U.S. Air, offering over 15 convenient daily nonstops to Las Vegas from the Los Angeles area. U.S. Air, America's most frequent flyer. I can't recall the Rebels ever having a better half this year, Sonny.
It can't be. They got 50. They got 2.5 minutes to go in this one against a pretty darn good basketball team.
Larry Johnson has worked a lot the last few days on his free throw shooting. He was embarrassed by that 1-for-6 performance Monday night. His first one rolls in with the 8 of the glass for his 7th point. Who would have believed the Rebels would be 20 points ahead late in the first half?
How about if I told you I would have?
All right. Neil McCarthy wouldn't have.
No, he wouldn't have. And nobody had a right to do that.
Johnson also makes the second.
I believe this is the best team in America. This is the only team that has every component filled to make a great basketball team.
And you felt that since the 1st of December. 52-31 Rebels. They've scored the last 10 points. Reggie Jordan with it outside. Working against Anthony. Bring it back out to Anderson. Anderson against Johnson to the lane. Blocked by Larry. To Ogman. Alley-oop pass ahead to Hunt. Here's a layup, but a dunk.
Anderson Hunt probably feels better on that dunk than he did his 7 threes.
23 for Hunt in the first half, 54-31, loose ball. Keith Hill's got it back for New Mexico State to Benjamin, to New, back out to Hill, three-pointer from 23's in there. Basket will count, a whistle, contact in the lane, might wind up being a 5-point play. The foul is on the Rebels. If it's Butler, it's his third. Look at Larry Johnson here.
Just flakes the ball away. I think they only had one going to the basket, and that was when Greg Anthony gave it up. Look at Anderson Hunt. He feels good about that.
So after scoring 12 straight, the Rebels give up the three-pointer to Hill. Then the foul was called, and it was on Butler. So David has to sit down. Moses Scurry back out there. 1:53 before halftime, 54-34. Michael New will be going to the line. Free throw is good. That earns him the bonus. So the possibility of a rare 5-point play in college basketball. New, who had 4 against the Rebels down in New Mexico, also made the second free throw. 54-36. Pass ahead in the offensive court to Anderson Hunt, who's had a spectacular first half with 23 points. Down low to Scurry, back to Hunt, left alone, shoots for another three. That's off to the left. Tipped by Ogman, no good, but goes to Johnson. Larry hangs, shoots off balance, no good. Followed by Scurry, dunk! The Rebels wanted this one badly, and they came out playing like they did. Hill shot blocked, but also a foul. Stacey Ogman got a little bit of the wrist, said Frank Mazzoni. Part ball, part wrist. First foul on ice. Both teams out of fouls.
Let's see what happens in here.
Close.
Yeah, very close. Anytime you get in with that many people, though, Ross, you're probably going to come out with a foul.
And to the line will go Keith Hill. Hill's first free throw rolls in. He's had 10 points in the first half. New Mexico State has not been impressive the last 2 games. They only beat Irvine by 4 in Las Cruces. And then, as we told you, beat Santa Barbara by 2 on Rick Clucky's three-point basket with 21 seconds left Saturday night. Second free throw, no good by Hill. Larry Johnson, another rebound. Outlet pass. Ogman scoops out of the run. No good, but he drew a foul.
That ball got down court in 3 seconds.
Wow. Does anybody in the college game, Sonny the Carroll, get out as well as the Rebels?
No one. And I think I've seen every team in America, you know, either on television or in person so far this year. No one impresses me more. They have all the components to win the national championship. And if ever Jerry had an honest shot, I think this is the year it all could fall right for Las Vegas.
In their last 6 games against New Mexico State, this I thought was kind of interesting, UNLV's averaged under 77 points a game. Ogman makes the free throw. In fact, New Mexico State is the only Big West Conference team never to allow 100 points to UNLV. And here the Rebels look for their 58th, and Ogman's shot goes in and comes out, so it's 57-37. Having the ball stolen by Scurry, and he scores underneath.
This is Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson.
1:05 before halftime. William Benjamin, left baseline, jump shot from 8, good. Rebels hustle back, leading 59-39. It goes to Anderson Hunt. Out to Anthony. You talk about courage. Greg Anthony with a fractured jaw, one simple, one compound, and playing well. To Hunt, to Ogman. 41 seconds left in the half, and Hunt throws it out of bounds.
It's the first mistake they've made on the offense pattern tonight, Ross. They haven't made all the shots. I don't know which ones they've missed, but that's the first time they mishandled the ball.
UNLV's Lady Rebels, who are ranked 2nd in the nation, won their 23rd game in 24 starts earlier tonight on this court, 86-42 over UC Irvine. Here's Moses Scurry trying for a steal and knocking it out of bounds with 27 seconds left, and the fans cheer Moses. He averaged over 17 points in 3 games last week against San Jose State, Pacific, and Oklahoma State to become the Big West Player of the Week. Larry Johnson has won the honor twice for the Rebels, and Anderson Hunt once. Hunt might win it again this week for one that night.
This is a career night.
Chris Hickman in the game, a 6'7" sophomore from Clearwater, Kansas, for New Mexico State. He's number 35. Aggies may wait for one shot. Hickman to Fluckey. Fluckey's long three-pointer offline. It comes to Barry Young to Hunt. 15 seconds to go. And the Rebels will get the last shot of the half, leading by 20. Down to 10 seconds to Barry Young. Back to Hunt. 6 seconds. Hunt to Ogman. Ogman back to Hunt. 2-1. Hunt's three-pointer. Good!
That was fitting.
That had to be at least 28 feet.
That was fitting. It was a bad shot. They were working around and got nothing. Watching here on the replay, he's 25 feet out. Nothing but net. This is a once, I don't want to say lifetime because I don't want to jinx the kid.
No.
But this is a game
Anderson, not only a sophomore, 8 three-point field goals in 20 minutes. Rebels by 23 at half, 62-39. We're back with our halftime festivities from Las Vegas right after these words.
We're called Trans World Airlines, but don't take the world part.
So the three-point shot is what Michigan's going to look for. And they are 3 of 7 thus far from three-point land.
4 guards in for Michigan right now as they're looking for quickness and outside shooting.
Their best three-pointer, Sean Higgins, obviously not playing today. And Jamal Brown almost came up with a steal. It'll be Michigan's ball. 6 seconds. Took 2 off the clock.
A three-point lead right here, 64-61.
Earlier, Joe, the scoreboard clock was wrong here. They had 65-61.
Well, that's what confused me, Gary, because we were thinking it was out of touch for Ohio State.
Now they're going to put a second back on the clock to 7, but it is a three-point game, 64-61. Tony Tolbert will inbound. Jim Burr, the official, hands him the ball.
A lot of coaches think you should foul.
Three-pointer by Robinson for the game. Vaught with 3 seconds puts it up. It's over. Ohio State's got it again. This is a city of miracles. So you better start believing in miracles because Ohio State fans do. 64-61. Ohio State upsets fifth-ranked Michigan. For Jack Arute and Joe B. Hall, this is Gary Bender saying so long from St. John Arena.
Coming up next on ABC, Arizona versus UNLV, or LSU takes on Vanderbilt. ABC's college basketball has been brought to you by Pontiac and your local Pontiac dealer. We build excitement. By the United States Postal Service, we deliver for you. By B.F. Goodrich, TA Tires, the athletic shoes for your car. And by the U.S. Navy, you and the Navy, full speed ahead. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.
A promotional fee has been paid to ABC by United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly to friendly skies.
America, getting to know you is an experience you won't want to miss. America's funniest home videos, and I'm not just saying that.
Then,
He's never really been away from home before.
it's Elvis's first concert. Elvis, Sunday.
Yeah.
We're here. It's great to be back at Danny's Flat Country.
Place looks just like I remembered.
No, Danny's is now bigger and better than ever. Looking good from top to bottom so you can have even more fun 24 hours a day.
Will we still get the same personal attention we're used to back home?
Why, sure. Come on in. You liked Danny's slot country before. You're going to love it now.
We've got it together for you in the Las Vegas Sun. First with Parade Magazine. We're continuing to deliver America's favorite Sunday supplement. Plus Showbiz Magazine for the inside scoop on what's happening in the world of entertainment, complete with broadcast and cable listings. Both magazines together every Sunday in Las Vegas's independent and most highly awarded newspaper, the Las Vegas Sun. Call 383-7200 for home delivery. We've got it together for you every Sunday in the Sun.
Hi, guys.
Good morning, Ted.
As you know, a lot of you will be rolling out today.
Yes, sir. You bet.
And I want to make sure you're ready.
I was born ready.
You've got a big job to do. Remember, there's a lot riding on you.
We know that, Ted.
I know I'll see you again when your new owners come back for our full car service. I want you to know I'm proud of you.
What a guy. That's our ball. Ted's got me all pumped up.
My show from Las Vegas all this week on Channel 13.
The following is a special presentation of ABC Sports.
Over the past 6 seasons, the best in the West in college basketball, Arizona and University of Nevada, Las Vegas. The Wildcats and the Rebels met last season in the Western Regional NCAA semifinals. Anderson Hunt's last-second three-pointer won the game for the Rebels 68-67. Today, the Wildcats and the Rebels meet in the Shark Tank, where the Rebels have won 101 of 107 games.
Of the Snake Pit, the Shark Tank, known formerly as the Thomas and Mack Center, home of the UNLV Run-In Rebels, today hosting the Wildcats of Arizona. Here's why I call it the capital of Snake Pit, because you just don't beat the Run-In Rebels here very often. 101-6, my goodness. It's the kind of a place where you go to season a team for postseason play. And that's exactly what both are doing today. Turn now to Dick Vitale and talk about the two front lines, because they are very good, but they're different.
Keith, I'll tell you one thing. When we talk about the Running Rebels front court, we're talking about the premier front court in the nation. Also, Vegas has the best starting five in the nation. Take a look at those numbers. Larry Johnson, David Butler, and Stacey Augmon really complement each other. Johnson's a big-time scorer, and Stacey Augmon is the best defensive player on the baseline in college basketball.
Now, the difference between them simply rests in the fact that Arizona's front line is so young, with the exception of Bushler.
Brian Williams is certainly a guy with a lot of potential, has to develop a little bit better work ethic. Stokes has been a diaper dandy, a shot blocker. And Jed Bushler is an all-purpose player. And then they have a key guy coming off the bench, Sean Rooks. There'll be a lot of clawing, a lot of clashing, a lot of banging inside. And remember, Vegas has to win all of its games and be 30-4 to get the #1 seed in the West.
And the point man for the Rebels, Greg Anthony, playing with a broken jaw.
I can hear it.
There's something coming. Transport like you never seen. Transport. It's a new kind of driving machine. Get on your Pontiac.
The space vehicle of the 90s.
Transport.
Introducing the Pontiac of minivans. The new Pontiac Transport.
Ride, transport, ride. Get on your Pontiac. We build excitement. Transport, transport, ride.
BF Goodrich TA tires perform like great athletic shoes. They grab. They dig.
BF Goodrich TA tires.
B.F. Goodrich TA tires, the athletic shoes for your car.
B.F. Goodrich TA tires.
So your little brother's joining us, huh?
He's not so little anymore.
All right, now let's move it.
He's what, 19?
Weight setting, 540, F14.
Jeff's landing planes?
4-gear lens set.
No. $40 million jets.
Today's Navy. High-tech training that takes you only one way. Full speed ahead.
Primary's off.
Good job, guys.
You and the Navy.
Jeff? He's not so little anymore.
Full speed ahead.
Ever since my brother Tom got this Magnavox 52-inch big screen TV, the show's gonna start. Come on. He stopped going to the movies. The picture is huge, sharp, and brighter than any ordinary TV. And I get great seats. Plus, Magnavox has a 100-watt JBL sound system. It's the same Dolby surround sound you hear at the movies. Yeah, and I don't have to stand in line in the rain anymore. Tom, it doesn't always rain when you go to the movies. Not anymore.
Magnavox. Smart choice. Very smart.
ABC's College Basketball. Brought to you by Pontiac and your local Pontiac dealer. We build excitement. By U.S. Navy, you and the Navy, full speed ahead. By the United States Postal Service, we deliver for you. And by Nike, who reminds you to just do it.
We're ready to play basketball now with the Wildcats of Arizona, the neighboring state, coming into Las Vegas against the UNLV running Rebels. Arizona has never won a game here. And your starting lineup, the Arizona group that we've talked to you about the front line, the backcourt, Matt Othick, who is the native son of Las Vegas, and Matt Muehlbach. Two very good backcourt people who can, Muehlbach in particular, hurt you from outside. For UNLV, their backcourt, Anderson Hunt on Thursday night against New Mexico State at the Big West Conference hit 8 3-pointers in the first half. Greg Anthony is playing with a broken jaw. He wanted to play with a hockey helmet and a face mask, but couldn't get everybody to agree on it. And so he's just playing with paper cross to protect his nose. Lute Olson, of course, and the keys for Arizona to win.
They must handle the pressure defensively because they know they're going to be pressured in the backcourt, and they must hit that perimeter jump shot because Vegas has such a dominant team on the inside. Lute Olson, why is he so good looking? I wish I had some of his look. And that's a look at Jerry Tarkanian. And the keys for UNLV, they're going to have to get their transition and layups to avoid playing against that matchup. And against the matchup defense, when Arizona sets up, Anderson Hunt, who's a very streaky shooter, Keith, must do what you said he did on Thursday, hit the three-point shot. He had 9 for 14 from three-point range in their blowout over New Mexico State.
There will be some rough stuff inside because both teams like to play physically inside. So let's see now what happens as we begin Arizona controlling the ball.
Interesting matchup, Muehlbach against Anthony.
Stokes is the freshman. That's Williams, who skated a little bit through the paint, gets called for the travel.
Williams has certainly been an enigma. He's been an up-and-down player. He's been a guy with a world of potential who has to start to develop. He said when he played for Maryland and Bob Wade that he didn't help to develop him. But if he wants to develop, it's going to be a two-way street. He has to learn to work.
Inside, Johnson has it blocked. Butler puts it up. A whistle stops him. Now, you're going to see a diamond and a runner out here, or a spy, or whatever you want to call him, because it looks like it's going to be Muehlbach's chore to stay in the shadow of Anderson Hunt.
Well, if you can shut down Anderson Hunt from the perimeter, you make life very tough on the inside. As we look at the former Southwestern High School star from out of Detroit, Michigan.
First points of the game right there.
Special, no doubt about it. Larry Johnson, the great smile, the great upper body. If he were to decide to leave UNLV after this year, he would be automatically a top 5 selection in the NBA draft. And with that avalanche happening, with all those football players going early, Keith, I wouldn't doubt to see some college basketball players follow suit.
Yeah, but basketball started the whole thing.
Yeah, well, they did after the Spencer Haywood situation.
They go inside to Williams, and Williams is mugged. The foul a moment ago was on Ed Stokes of Arizona, and this foul's going to go on Anderson Hunt.
They can't afford to lose Hunt because right now on their bench, Stacy Savanovich is injured also. He has a shoulder problem, a separated shoulder. You mentioned the injury to
Anthony, but also Matt Osvick playing with two bad ankles. Take a look at Matt Osvick.
Bishop Gorman High School here in Las Vegas at one time said he would come here, but changed his mind. Matt Muehlbach.
What a solid player. His last 5 games, his assist-to-turnover ratio is 7-to-1, and that is sensational.
Scores tied at 2, early going at the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas, where it's been raining and it's been cold. And out of the corner, that's Anthony.
Greg Anthony, certainly a story, a guy of tremendous courage just to be able to be playing here with a compound fracture in terms of his jaw.
Happened in the game, the win over Fresno State.